Celebrities, time-wasting, spotlight-hogging, utterly superfluous entities that steal precious feed space from adorable chihuahuas in tiny hats. And the hats they somehow managed to f*** up. With all fancy events like Oscars and Met Galas, here's a piece of information that'll be no use for you. Met Gala is an annual fundraising fashion flock of rich influencers and celebrities organized to raise funds for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute in Manhattan, which obviously is a dire need of fundraising. Met Gala sounds like something stupid celebrities came up with a year or two ago, right? Wrong. If you think it was created sometime in the 90s by a wealthy American family, you are also wrong. 1948, man, that is 3 years after arguably the worst second morning in human history. That year, an entrance ticket cost $50. You could buy a month's rent with those groceries for that today, or guys, just wait another 60 years to have one dinner for two. Apparently, inflation hit the Met Gala quite hard as well. A ticket for this gala cost $75,000, which is 3 times more than in 2015, and the total raised about $26 million. This money could have easily sponsored Mr. Beast building 600 wells in Africa, maybe even 800, actually, if you got that wholesale deal. But enough about the rich. Let's talk about the rich pretending to be poor. Because no matter how stupid Met Gala is, I kind of get it. You love money, you love attention, you always wanted to find the use for the curtain you found in a vintage store. And the word fundraising makes you feel just good enough about spending $75,000. I'll come back to the feeling part in just a second though. First, I want to talk about a trend that's been going around lately. This lovely homesteading, van living, and good old backpacking. I call it glorifying homelessness. Rich people enjoying the cozy perks of being poor, without actually worrying about few downsides like, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and actually working in order to buy a milkshake at Starbucks.
Oh my god, do I look poor enough to you? Oh my god, Megan, you do look so poor and gorgeous.
Like this family who are making their best living of a modest life, or their humble homestead, spending days baking artisan bread, or hand-milking her cattle with her children. Modest life of heir to a billionaire empire called JetBlue Airlines. That is one truly poor family in need. Or here's the luxury brand Balenciaga, selling shoes for affordable $2,000. Or ultra relatable, or hated, depending on how old you are. Ed Sheeran, who claimed he hasn't had a phone since 2017. Well, I'm sure he had a dude who owns a phone for him. I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet too. Although my heart is falling. Ooh, what rhymes with ooh? Hey man, you ever thought about two? Oh, you are very talented. You know that, right? Yeah, thanks man. I have a master's degree in quantum mechanics, actually. You want to answer text messages for me? So now let's chat about a celebrity who started this trend, Marie Antoinette. France's last queen before heads off came in style, and also the first victim of misinformation. Contrary of what the TikTokers say these days, she never said let them eat cake. Marie, what should we cook for dinner?
Let's make oysters and half a shell for starters and roasted pheasant for the mains.
And for dessert?
I don't give a shit. Let them eat cake.
Ah, bitch, I got you. Anyway, near the end of her royal gig, she built a fake village in her backyard and called it the Queen's Hamlet. The village had grass, surprise, surprise, 5 houses, goats, and sheep to complete the rustic aesthetic, but minus the usual peasant specials like starvation and scarlet fever. So when the pressure of ruling over a cake-eating, revolution-teetering people got too much, Maria would ditch her royal threads, throw on a plain Muslim dress, and hit the peasant playground. She'd milk some cows, pick some grass, and what else did peasants do those days? Played hide and seek with the sheep, okay. Anyways, after her little back to the basics retreat, she skipped back to the palace life, probably bitching about how hard it is and being off the rails queen. Now, 300 years later, the situation didn't change much, and I can illustrate that with 2 lines that I'm very proud of. This is rich people, and this is poor, and the gap between them. Good stuff, right? So these fellas right here, they own 2% of the global total, while these 10% are slipping GNTs for breakfast, owning 76 of the Earth's wealth. Average income gap between the top and bottom has almost doubled in the last 20 years. So yeah, the 2 lines will never meet, which means that bitching about either of them is simply counterproductive, and is literally a waste of time. But, aw, isn't that what we're here for? Back to the poor. The poor are maxing it out, trying to keep up with the squirrel in the wheel mindset. As they teach you in schools, you have to deserve your success. But 90% will live and die poor. This is called effort-reward dilemma. Like nobody thinks that a CEO, whose pay is an average 271 times greater than his employees, sweats 271 times harder. Some of them definitely don't sweat at all though. And the rich, it seems, lack the real life edge. So they are busy cosplaying poor, stealing the only thing that the poor really have, their lifestyle and identity. Remember, I talked about feeling good. It's all about the inherent tendencies of being dissatisfied with your life you currently have. Regardless of whether you are poor or rich, it's not like the poor secretly enjoy the lack of basic medicine or access to education. And I doubt the celebrities bitch about how miserable they feel just to fuck with us. We're only human after all, trying to suppress the pain of existence in our own ways, doing what makes us feel good. It doesn't mean that anyone should give a shit about what a celebrity does, though. It literally has zero implications on the actual world. And it doesn't mean an angry TikToker will change anything with their rants.
Peasants like us are blocking celebrities and influencers.
And certainly, nobody should give a shit about me making a video about the poor and the rich. But it feels good.
I'm feeling good.
Subscribe!